but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Hello and welcome back to our first and only doubleheader of the World Monoposto Sim Racing Championship 2023 season. We're about to start the European tour of this season today, as we will be racing at Jerez in Spain. My name is Robin Schumann, and unfortunately I'm alone today, as Alex and Ash weren't able to join me. But I hope we will still get through with this. And apologies in advance, of course, if I miss any action or anything happening. But for those of you missing Ash's voice, I have some very good news, as Ash was able to record the commentary for the track day in advance. So here is a lap around the circuit that we will be racing on today.
Welcome back to WMSC. My name's Ash, and we meet again for our first doubleheader of the season here at the Jerez circuit. Located near the city of Jerez de la Frontera in Spain, this circuit has hosted Formula One, World Superbikes, and the current home of MotoGP's Spanish Grand Prix. Here's a hot lap around the racetrack, hosted by none other than Filip Puška. We start the lap by firing under the unique start-finish straight observation building and into turn 1, Curva Expo 92. Straighten up the car before getting the throttle fully down, but before you know it, we reach Curva Michelin. Puška taking plenty of curb on the inside so we can angle the car better for the super fast turns 3 and 4. Next we head towards Curvacito Pons, which used to be 4 corners but was reconfigured into one long sweeping right-hander, which takes us onto what is effectively the back straight. Up next is Curva Dreisac, renamed recently to Curva Dani Pedrosa after the MotoGP star, and this infamous spot is where Michael Schumacher hit the wrong part of Jacques Villeneuve in the 1997 Formula One title decider. Gradually build up the revs as you exit the corner, and we fly through another flat corner, turn 7, and then line up for turn 8, which you can take with very little time off the throttle if you angle the car correctly on entry. Turns 9 and 10 are taken in quick succession, both near 90-degree right-handers. Then, in some events, that would lead us into the chicane Senna, which is just on the right here, but not for us. Power down through turn 11, and then turn 12, which is known as Ferrari, before the final hairpin, Ducados. Get it slowed down, hug the inside, Puška just catching some oversteer on exit here, and he powers down the main straight to complete a lap of Jerez. Vamos!
Well, and let's of course also look at the weather for today, and it is sunny and warm in southern Spain. We expect not a single cloud in qualifying and the race. Well, that may be exaggerating a bit, but the weather will be very nice in qualifying and the race, and temperatures both in the middle 20-degree range, so 24 for qualifying, 25 degrees Celsius for the race, and qualifying should be about to start in a couple of minutes. But ahead of that, let's look at the current Drivers' Championship. Yannis Woolborn is still in the lead for Holland Racing Team with 39 points after 5 rounds, but Max Riedmuller was able to close the gap a little bit in Watkins Glen, where he won. And he's now with 31 points, just 8 points behind Yannis. And Max is pretty confident today in Jerez as well. He told us that after the last round in the post-race interview. And behind them also, kind of still in the championship, are Pascal Polens and Philip Pushkin 3rd and 4th. Then we have Alexander Hess, Danny Weller, Lucas Murno, who had a very consistent run in the last couple of races, Lorenzo Turi in 8th, Jeffrey Fournier 9th, and Daniel Benton-Reeder. These are the top 10 for the Drivers' Championship. And now let's look at the team standings. Holland Racing Team, their lead looks quite sustainable for now. And they are, of course, expected to be the favorites here for the Constructors' Championship. But Maniti, they are bringing big upgrades here to Jerez. And yeah, as we said, we expect them to be very strong here and in the next round at Monaco as well. Then we have Epic Basilia, Scuderia CM Motorsport, Bata Julia, Infernal Void Racing, Scuderia Cesario, Optiminal Esports, and Streamline Engineering sitting in 9th, Costec in 10th, the only team that is yet to score. So, let's see. I think qualifying we're still waiting for it to start. Yeah, this is the calendar once again. As I already said, we are starting the European tour now of the championship, and we will be back here at Jerez, a venue very popular in the late 80s and early 90s, or well, in the 90s in general, for Grand Prix racing. That track has seen some iconic moments throughout its history, and it's great to see such a historic venue coming back to top level of racing. And yeah, I don't know, we just received the call that qualifying is about to start. So let's go trackside. Yeah, here we are. We can see that very unique building there going above the start-finish line. And now we have the first cars lining up at the end of the pit lane. 14 seconds until the session will go underway and the traffic light will be green. Oh, it's quite a traffic jam there at the end of the pit lane. And there we go. Daniel Benton-Reeder for Bata Julia is the first one to leave the pit lane. And let's see them do their first warm-up. Maybe now a couple of words about the qualifying procedure in general. We will see a lot of on-track action here in qualifying, as the drivers have to leave the pits with their race fuel. So the race fuel will be set when they start their first flying lap. At the end of qualifying, it will be refilled to that amount that they started their first flying lap with. And that means that they will try to run as much as they can to have a fuel tank that is as empty as possible towards the end of the session, to set a fast lap time with a, well, somewhat lighter car. Of course, these 20 minutes are not nearly enough to really get all of the fuel out, but at least that guarantees us a lot of action on track, a lot of stuff to watch, because they won't just wait for the final couple of minutes to set their quick lap times or to enter leave the pits. Now Daniel Benton-Reeder here, he is the first one to start his flying lap, and we have already seen a lap of the circuit in the track day video at the beginning here of the stream. Let's follow Daniel through that track as well. It is a very, very flowing track. Can already see a lot of fast sweeping corners. This here might probably the best overtaking spot, the longer straight into the Dani Pedrosa hairpin. is, of course, the place where Schumacher and Villeneuve had their moment in the 1997 season finale in Formula One. We don't expect to see some kind of controversy there today, that kind of controversy at least, as we now see Daniel Banton-Reeder going through that very flowing path with a lot of right-hand corners. We're leaving out that chicane here that you might know from that track, so we're using these fast right sweeps up until that last final corner that is pretty slow hairpin. And let's see what Daniel Banton-Reeder's benchmark is. And he's instantly beaten to it by Ruven Meshed, who's just behind him, 2 seconds faster. Here is Yannis Woborn. Let's see what his first lap time will be. Wow, okay. A lot slower than Meshed is for now. Pushka, half a second behind Ruven. Cooper McAllister, he had a purple first sector. A little slower in the middle sector though. He returns for SCMM. He was missing last time out at Watkins Glen. And he enters the timing sheets. And third, Max Riedmüller, the big favorite going into today's race. He has set a first marker down, 14 flat. But as I explained, we are expecting the fastest lap times rather. Remco de Zoo, he is also back. He is filling in for Fischer, Dylan Fischer, who raced the first time in the WMSC. Last time out at Watkins Glen, instantly scored points when he finished 7th. Ruven Meshed, the first one to set a second time, gets closer to Riedmüller, but isn't able to beat him. And wow, Max Riedmüller with another flyer here. 2 purple sectors. Now what can he do in this third one? And across the line he goes. And he improves upon his time and is the first one to dive into the 1:13s. Dino Caggiano, he's also back for SCMM. This time filling in for Alex Hess, whom he was racing alongside at the Glen. 15th for now. Bartosz Kopeta also back for Scuderia Cesario. He had rather a disappointing start to his WMSC career. Oh my goodness, as he goes right through turn 5, that must have been. But he keeps it out of the wall. He had a hard time at the Glen. The first qualifying was a very wet affair where he was struggling, and then he crashed out in the first corner of the first lap, unfortunately, so he wasn't able to get some good running here in the WMSC and finding his ways into this series. Okay, what is Lucas Miller done? He's gone into the pits. Usually that is not what you see in qualifying. For my information, that isn't even allowed, so we can only pit. And not go back into the garage entirely. See what happened to him. In the meantime, Riedmüller was able to further improve on his lap time. He's now set a 1:13.8. Holland's the top Holland car. Ahead of the race, we got the information that this might be one of their tougher races, and they might look forward to damage limitation here and take as much points as possible from this race. Here is Yannis. Maybe he can at least put a good lap in qualifying. He is running on the mediums right now. So as we were just talking about tires, let's maybe a quick word on the tire rules that you have here. There is 2 separate sets of tires that you have to decide for before qualifying. So there is a set of super softs and mediums and softs and hards, and you have to go for either of the 2. and so you will only have the super softs and mediums available for qualifying and the race, or the softs and hards. And yeah, you can't decide. You don't have to use both compounds in the race. So in theory, you could just run with a hard tire from start to the finish and don't have to switch onto the other compound that you have available to yourself. Gustavo Frigato, he's also new name that we're seeing here today for Infernal Void. He's filling in for Aaron Curtis. Unfortunately, they can't make it today. Yeah, especially in the chat, Super Parkour telling us today will be a hard race for Infernal Void because their car is not made for tracks like Jerez, and this is absolutely right. So unfortunately, Gustavo will have a hard time today, probably. Lucas Murno, his teammate, has brought in some great results in the last couple of races, consistently finishing in the points. And Gustavo also has some experience with racing real cars in Brazil. He has been participating in the Stock Car Pro Series that you might be familiar with if you ever played Automobilista or Automobilista 2. So yeah, it will be quite exciting to see how he does. Oh, Pascal Polens now is turning it up. Purple first sector. The same that goes for Infernal Void, of course, goes for Holland Racing Team. This track is just not made for their car. So that is why they will need to see what is the maximum possible today. And for now, we can see that sitting in 7th and 8th. But we know they like to leave it late in qualifying, so yeah, we'll just have to wait a couple more minutes. But Pascal will definitely improve upon his lap time right now. Let's see where he crosses the line, and he moves up into 2nd. 2/10 behind Max Riedmüller's fastest lap. There was, I think, must have been, yeah, it was Cooper McAllister kicking up some dirt then into the face of his teammate Gino Gaggiano. Let's see what this lap time will be. It should be better than what he was able to do until now, and he moves up into 14th. SCMM also brought updates to today's race. Oh, there is a purple first sector by Ruben Meschede. Let's see if he can keep it that way throughout sectors 2 and 3. Yeah, goes yellow in the middle sector, but he might still be able to improve on his lap time. There is a yellow in sector 2. Oh, that yellow stayed there for quite a bit. Probably another off moment for someone there. Oh, that looked like he did a bit wide to the final corner. He improves somewhat, but doesn't improve his position as he goes sideways through turn 1. So I don't expect any improvement in that lap. Let's watch Bartosz Kopeta once again, sitting in 18th and last for Cesario. But it is a personal best in the first sector. He's definitely improving in this lap, and once again, unfortunately, runs wide. I think it must have been turn 9 where he had that moment there. One of those fast right-handers in the final sector of this track where you really have to play the angles well. These are very, very fast, but if you miss the apex just slightly, that might have pretty bad implications for your lap time. And there goes Max Riedmüller once again trying to improve on his lap time. 8 minutes to go, and I think now we will see the lap times drop. He is on the harder set of compounds. He's running with softs and mediums. Obviously on the soft tires, setting his lap time here. 2 purple sectors. Can he keep it purple in the final one? Yes, he can. 113.5 for our winner from Watkins Glen. The tire situation will also be an interesting one with these warm temperatures. I'm making it kind of hard to keep them alive. Max Haven sitting at 12th. Not able to improve for now. Oh, Jörn van Wendt has entered the front row provisionally, just behind his teammates. And Riedmüller once again, 2 purple sectors. He has the car ahead there. Can't see who this is. That's a Team Holland car. There he goes, around the final corner. That is looking good. A good exit towards the line. And he further improves. 113.4. Poland's. That must have been the car ahead of him. Now snatched second away from Van Wendt. And there goes Cooper McAllister. Very good first sector. Oh, and this might have been it. He lost a lot of time. Let's see if he can still improve, though I doubt that. Well, yes, he actually could. Up into 4th, but he definitely lost some time when he had to leave the track there. Oh, in the background there is some squabble going on. As we look at Jörn van Wendt, who is further improving on his time. Now that is interesting. Got some information that Jörn received some help setting up his wheel from Max Riedmüller. So if he can, of course, improve and steal some points away from the Holland guys, that might come in very handy for Max in the championship fight. Bit of an improvement for Van Wendt. Still sitting in 3rd. Here goes Meschede. And Woolborn is still down in 8th. 1.2 seconds down. Here goes Lucas Werner. Improves into 8th. But that definitely won't have been it for Yanis. He will definitely improve. I'm very sure of that. René Weller. Back for Kostek. He goes pit lane. Getting some fresh tires for a final attack now. I think everybody's doing that now. Bekala, let's see where this lap time will put him. Will definitely be an improvement. Well, the last sector wasn't that great, so still sitting in 15th. Philip Pushkin now, he's been very consistent throughout this season. He might really be kind of a dark horse in the championship fight. Unfortunately, Bahrain didn't go as planned for him at all when he had some issues with his wheel. But he was fighting for the win in Canada. He was fighting for the podium in Watkins Glen. He did win in Melbourne, of course. Inaugural WMSC winner. Let's see what he can do. Oh! Big moment there, out of the final hairpin. Just managed to keep it out of the wall. So that was a shocking moment for him here. But he's still able to go on with qualifying. Let's see what Frigato does in his first WMSC qualifying. good midfield spot for now in 11th. Especially considering, that didn't look as clean, but he still gets a good exit out of the final corner. Not able to improve, however. Cooper McAllister once again, purple first sector. The SCMMs are really strong in that part of the track. But he will probably lose out now in the middle sector and the final sector. This is really Maniti territory. Not even able to improve from himself. He's on the super softs, you can see that by the red sticker Fournier. And McAllister goes back into the pit lane. He might still be able to get one more lap in. Yannis Wilborn improves, but he still is only 7th. The championship leader struggling a bit in qualifying here. Jan van Bent. He will be trying to lock out the front row for Maniti. Oh, and there's been a crash, and this is a Cesario car, and I'm afraid that indeed is Bartosz Kopeta. Is that a tire there? Was there a second car involved? He definitely lost his rear wing, but he's still having 4 wheels on his car, and I think I saw a wheel there in the grass. Oh, that of course is dramatic. Another late qualifying crash. We've seen that happen in Watkins Glen, and we've seen it happen here. He's trying to make it back into the pit lane. Of course, taking some yellow flags with him, and this is a crash. Once again, running just a little bit wide, and then lost it. Oh, and this is a Holland car. Who was that? Either Poland's or Wilborn hits Kopeta, who was spinning back on track, and probably have lost their wheel there as well. Now that is some late drama here in qualifying at Jerez. Back to the live action, and yeah, it must have been Pascal Poland's. Meschede made it into 2nd in the meantime. The last couple of seconds running down as Max Riedmüller will come across the line for his fastest and final lap. 2 quick sectors, 1 and 2. He improves to 1:13.2. Jan van Vent. I think he came across the line too late to put in another lap. Let's see who is still able to improve. Max Heyman going back into the pits. Is there anyone still trying to improve their lap times? Let me just look at the live timing. I think Cooper McAllister is. Oh, and there's another spin that was a better Julian. I think it was the number 7 of Daniel Benton-Reader. If I've seen that correctly. Let's see what Cooper can do. Is that another improvement? Yeah, a bit, but no improvement on his starting grid position. And I think that might have been it. Riedmüller on pole, half a second quicker than Ruven Meschede in 2nd. Pascal Poland's, he crashed in the end into a spinning Bartosz Kopeta. He starts from 3rd, Jörn van Vent in 4th. Strong qualifying from the 2nd Maniti driver. Cooper McAllister 5th, Philip Puschke 6th. Yannis Wilborn, championship leader for Team Holland, only starting from P7. Lucas Murno still starting in 8th. Daniel Benton-Reader 9th. Frigotto in his first qualifying managed to get it into the top 10. Jeffrey Fournier 11th. Danny Weller 12th, another rather disappointing qualifying for Danny, who started so strong into this season. Gaggiano in 13th, Max Heyman the lead, Cesario in 14th, Philip Fekala 15th, Renivella 16th, Remco Desu 17th, and 18th and last is Bartosz Kopeta for Cesario. I'll see you in a couple of minutes for the start of the race. Here's once again the top 10. And yeah, let's just get a quick break in, and I'll see you for the start. So, welcome back to Jerez as we're awaiting the formation lab for today's race. A bit of an update on Bartosz Kopeta. Just after qualifying, we received the information that Bartosz has given a penalty, so he will have from the pit lane for that crash he had with Pascal Polens in the last minutes of qualifying. We've seen that happen as they are now starting the formation lap. Max Riedmüller, so far, he has absolutely justified that he is the safest bet for the win today. He starts alongside Ruven Meschede, who just joined us for the 2 races ago in Canada. He starts from second. Then we had Poland and Van Wendt, McAllister 5th, Puschke 6th, Janis Wilborn only 7th. We've seen that in qualifying. Murno 8th. Good qualifying for Infernal Void once again. Banton Reader 9th. Frigotto 10th. Fournier 11th. Danny Weller, who will start from 12th. And then we have Gagiano, Heyman, Fekela, Rene Weller. So the 8th row is a Kostek lockout. And then we have 17th Remco Desu and 18th Bartosz Kopeta. But as I said, he will start from the pit lane. Oh, and we're already in the final sector. Tire situation. This one will be very interesting. Maybe short updates. Didn't think I mentioned that in qualifying. Everyone except the 2 Manitis has gone for softs, super soft and medium, and everyone will be starting on the harder compound of the set, meaning Riedmüller and Van Wendt on the hard tire, everyone else on the medium tire. Now they are lining up on the grid. They're waiting for the final couple of cars to line up in the background there. Okay, Pata isn't lining up in the pit lane. That's interesting. So he will be starting from the grid, if I've seen that correctly. But now they're all here. We're waiting the 5 lights. It took us very long in Canada. Seems to be the case here as well. And already information is that Bartosz Kopeta will get a penalty because he has not lined up in the pit lane but on the grid. So that's a 10-second stop go for him. And it's a very, very long hold here. Smoke coming out of Van Wendt's Maniti. The heat is building now and is certainly not helping these cars. McAllister also. Message from Race Direction is that they all should check if they're lined up correctly, because that might be the issue here. I can see that who's that Pushkin might set up a little bit much on the left. More smoke from more cars coming up, and I believe we are experiencing some kind of issue here. That shouldn't be the case. Well, no further updates. I will keep you posted as soon as I know more what's going on here. Now, interestingly, everyone is building up some smoke except the 2 Team Holland cars. And that can't be good for these engines. Okay, and information is that this race will be restarted. So we will see the whole procedure once again, if I'm not mistaken. And unfortunately, we will have to wait a little longer. Okay. Well, let's see what happens. We will try to jump into the race session once again to, at this time, hopefully be able to start the race. So now everyone is back into their pit lane or pit box. So we should be fine now. Let's try this all again. Of course, I don't know what exactly happened there, so I can't give you any info on that. But that certainly isn't helping the concentration of the drivers. Okay, information from race direction was now that it seemed to be so that the drivers really have to watch their pit box or grid box because some drivers are really on the front edge of it, maybe even too far of it. Maybe that has been the issue of that start that didn't happen the first time. So we will have another formation lap. I'm honestly running out of things to tell you now about this race, I think. Yeah, we've checked the tires. This is the situation you can see once again. As I said, everyone on mediums except Riedmüller and von Wendt. Oh, it says Benton Reader is in the pits. And I think that is actually the case. Yeah, there he is. Oh, Benton Reader, will he start from the pit lane now? I think he has to, because he's not on the grid, he's not on the formation lap. Also interesting to know what will happen to Bartosz Kopeta. Is that 10-second stop-go penalty standing? Will he go into the pits now, or will he just start from the grid as he now has that 10-second stop-go penalty? I think we will get some clarification in the race. Yeah, he goes to the grid once again. He receives his penalty. I think that's just a confirmation of the one that we've seen earlier, so nothing changed for him. Don't think he should have 2 penalties now. There he lines up in 18th. And now let's await the 5 lights. Do we see a start this time around? Benton Reader, he will start from the pit lane. Oh, and once again, it's a very long hold. I'm afraid there is some issue once again. It's taking very long once again. Kopeta looks like he's very close to the front of his grid box. Once again, smoke starting to come out. Okay. And there will be another restart. The issue came up once again. Let's hope 3 times a charm. This time we will try to go into the race without the formation lap. Maybe that is the issue. Let's see what will happen here. We're just now skipping through the weekend and into the race. At least we're trying to do that. And then start the race in the order they qualified. Maybe that is positive for Benton Reader. Didn't make it out for the formation lap in our second attempt. but might be able to put him back into his great spot, which should be 9th. And yeah, now we're in the warm-up session, and we should now jump into the race and try it once again without formation lap. And then hopefully 3 times a charm, and we will finally see some racing action. But there's the saying oh, I just forgot what the saying was. I had it in my mind, so just ignore me. Talking nonsense, trying to keep you entertained. Thank you very much, of course, for joining us this afternoon. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, because this is the opportunity to talk about them right now. Good things come to those who wait. This was the saying I wanted to talk about earlier. So hopefully that is the case for us here as well, as we're waiting for the 3rd attempt on starting this race here. And let's hope everything works this time around. For those that only have joined now, welcome everyone to round 6 here of the World Monoposto Sim Racing Championship. Unfortunately, I'm alone today in the virtual commentary box. Ash and Alex couldn't make it today. So once again, apologies if I miss any of the action, because it is really hard to keep up with all of the great racing that is going on here. We've seen a very interesting qualifying session. Lot of action going on there as well. Max Riedmüller, favorite going into today's race. He was proving everyone who thinks he will win today right, as he puts it on the prime position on the grid by over half a second. So once again, trying to jump into the race. As soon as I get further information, I will, of course, share that information with you. I think right now the suspicion was that that issue was somewhat caused by the formation lap. Things going wrong there. Maybe let's talk also about a bit of history from Jerez. We've seen some amazing races here in Formula One, and I think it is well remembered in Formula One as well, this track. Despite there not being too many races, I think it was on the calendar as the Spanish Grand Prix from 1986 to 1990, if I'm not mistaken, and then 2 times as the European Grand Prix in 1994. I think it was filling in there for Donington, which then again was filling in for South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, 1997, that was the last Formula One race we've seen here, with, of course, the iconic Villeneuve-Schumacher collision. Ash has mentioned it in the track day video, where Schumacher hit the wrong part of Jacques Villeneuve, and Jacques went on to win his one and only Drivers' Championship, actually the last Drivers' Championship for Williams to date. Will we see another iconic race here today? Hey, more information from Race Direction as I'm trying to keep you entertained and to fill in with some random info that came to my mind and that I researched ahead of this race. Information is that we're waiting for Danny Weller to rejoin, so it seems to be missing right now. So as soon as he rejoins, we will head to the track and try for the third time. Well, 3 times a charm. Hopefully it will work this time around. And another iconic race, of course, was the first race we've seen here with Grand Prix cars. Yeah, that's nice that you feel entertained, Super Parkon. I'm trying my best here. Yeah, iconic was also the race between Senna and Mansell in 1986, the closest finishes, I think, in Grand Prix racing. But now we're ready to head to the on-track action. Yeah, Danny seems to be here now. So we now should be able to jump into the race, and we will jump straight into the race. No formation lap this time around, and the first cars are lining up, so let's bring it on, guys. There they are. Max Riedmüller's there. Ruben is there. Only Heyman and Copetta are missing. Copetta in the pit lane. Oh, he will start from the pit lane now as 5 red lights are on. And away we are at Jerez. 3 times indeed Easy Charm. And it's a good getaway from Riedmüller. Oh, there is a better Julia in the grass already. Oh, Riedmüller running right through turn 1. This is the opportunity for Ruben Mescher into 2, but he manages to stay ahead. There is the second Maniti of Von Wendt trying to attack Poland's Woolborn, still in 7th. But they kept position in the top 7. Mano lost out to Bantenrieder, if I've seen that correctly. Oh, and no, this is Jan van Wendt running right. Can he keep it out of the wall? Yes, he can. Just able to keep it out of the wall. Down in 12th now. Oh, unfortunately for Maniti, he was able to put Poland's under some pressure. Pushkin 4th. He is defending from Cooper McAllister in 5th. Behind them, championship leader Janis Woolborn, of course, moving up a spot due to that moment for Jörn van Wendt. So he is in 6th now. But he seems to be under pressure from Daniel Bantenrieder here. Mano kept position now. Frigotto moved up into 9th. He's just behind his teammate and compatriot, fighting for points. There is the penalty for Copetta once again, who started from the grid. Oh, some smoke in the background. This is Fournier trying to defend from Gaggiano. Into turn 1 they go. Gaggiano on the outside, not able to make a move. Can he do a switch back into turn 2? No, he can't. But in the background, this is Jörn van Wendt trying to move up back through the grid. He moved past Heyman there. And is back into 12th. Ah, disappointing start for the second Maniti driver. But it's such a great qualifying. And yeah, they have such a great car around this track. So it's a recovery job for him now. But nothing is lost still. Oh, and there is major contact between Gaggiano and Fournier as he tries a move into that Schumacher-Villeneuve corner. Danny Pedrosa is what it's called. Von Wendt says thank you very much and slips through, and Gaggiano and Fournier are still at it now. Fournier with the battle line into that right-hander there, and he moves past Gaggiano once again. I think Race Direction still will have a look at that situation because, Gaggiano kind of rammed Fournier out of the way there. Riedmüller 2 seconds already between Max and Ruben Mescher there. Fastest lap of the race, of course, in lap 2 here. Oh, in the background, the 2 Cossacks. Race Direction just have called in Gino Gaggiano got a warning for that incident. And there is Pushke putting Poland under pressure, and that is what we expected. Team Holland is struggling on this track. There goes Pushke. Ooh, late on the brakes. Not able to make a move. He was not far enough alongside. Well, he wasn't alongside at all. But he needs to be quicker on that straight. Jerez should activate around now. So maybe that will help him. And that, of course, still is the advantage for Team Holland. They are still extremely quick in a straight line. So even though they are slow, they are still hard to overtake. Oh, well, slow. They are not slow, but slower, of course, than Philipp Puschke can go for now, as it seems. Yep, and there he opens his rear wing. Riedmüller with another fastest lap, 1:14.3. And then another issue for Team Holland might be, well, the tire situation. That seemed to be an issue once again last time out at Watkins Glen. There is some racing action. Jörn von Wendt really slicing through the field right now against Gustavo Frigato. Around the outside here of that long sweeping right-hander that leads onto the first DRS zone. But I think Frigato has now put enough space between himself and von Wendt so that he can keep that 9th spot. But yeah, you were able to see in those kind of in these first laps how much quicker Imaniti is compared to yeah, pretty much all of the others. Riedmüller, he's really flying. 3.3 seconds now, the gap between first and second. And they are both on the hard tires. Everyone else is on the mediums with the quicker and softer tire. But they're still quicker than everyone else. Well, and there is a train building behind Pascal Polans, as of course Meschede is also pulling away from the Team Holland driver in third. Let's see if Puschke can find a way past. But that is a bit of a bigger issue. That exit looked good. His rear wing is open, but yeah, it's not enough. He's trying it. Well, not really trying, but at least showing himself the mirror of Pascal Polans. Cooper McAllister in fifth. Also great to see SCMM back rather at the top of the field. So kicking up some dirt there is Pascal Polans. As I said, overtaking might be a bit of an issue on this track here. Very technical, very fast, very flowing, but it doesn't have these classic overtaking spots. Oh, as Bourbon just proved me wrong there as he moved past Cooper McAllister. Maybe we can see a replay of that in a couple of seconds, because that was unexpected. In the final sector of the track. Interesting. Must have been a surprise attack. Caught Cooper McAllister unaware. Maybe a bit of a mistake by Cooper as well. Sure, this will be the replay of that situation. And here he's rather close to Philipp Puschke. And then, yeah, it actually was a bit of a mistake. Seemed like he got a little sideways. And then side by side, wow, through these fast right sweepers. Brilliant overtake by Yannis Wilborn, taking advantage of that situation, and you really have to take advantage of moments like these on a track like Jerez. Now McAllister, rather busy looking in his rear mirrors. This is Danny Weller. In the background, that was Heyman, once again a Cesario. Running wide in one of those fast right-hand sweepers. But he managed to rejoin safely and is still running on track. Back to that sort of battle here between Van Vent, Fournier, Frigato, Weller and Gagiano. But also here it looks like it's rather waiting for someone to put the foot wrong and then seize the opportunity whenever it opens up. Now on the DRS straight, they are. Oh, Frigato. Oh. Got a little bit of a heart attack there. But that must have been some smaller connection issue or server issue. That is the rear view of Frigato in the Infernal Void. He's gaining on Weller there. But once again, Danny Weller. What has happened to Better Julia? They were so quick. In the first couple of races, wow, here he runs very, very wide. That might even put him vulnerable to Gagiano behind him. As Weller went very deep into the final corner. Yeah, Danny was leading the first stint of the race in Melbourne. He was leading large parts of Kyle Army when he then went for the wrong tire choice in his final pit stop. And since then, well, he has been struggling. We know that he had an injury on his leg. I think he even broke his leg. That was the information that we got a couple of races ago. Maybe that is a bit of an issue for him. Well, it certainly won't be helping him. Is of course I'm always keeping a bit of an eye on the gaps at the top, but no surprise, Max Riedmüller pulling further and further away. Gap was up to 6 seconds there. Another replay, was that Cooper McAllister at the start of the race. Let's see what happened to him. Against Philip Puschke, he's battling through these first couple of corners, and then yeah, there's some fight situation and battles going on in that midfield pack. Well, not midfield, lower points position pack. Puschke moved past. Oh, and then he had a little bit of a moment there. Just kept it together. This is where Van Vent ran wide at the start. And then Cooper battling Puschke for a couple of runners. Great racing there in the opening lap. Yeah, looks like we will go back to the live action in a couple of seconds. Yeah, there we are. Luckily, I don't think we missed anything. Sorry for that. Some sort of technical issue we had there. But we're back now, and we were just seeing a battle unfold between the two Team Holland cars and Philip Puschke, who is in a Holland sandwich. In the meantime, Riedmüller extended the gap to 7.5 seconds. Team Holland cars the top. Here's another battle in the lower point scoring positions. Benton, Reeder and Murno. And yeah. Murno seems to be able to go quicker than Benton Reeder. But Murno, once again, he's looking to continue his strong run of form that he had lately, as he once again is running in the point scoring positions in the WMSC. Only the two top 8 drivers at every race score points, and Lucas Murno has been in the points at every race since Bahrain, and for now it looks like that won't change here today. Of course, strategy will come into play, and this is kind of something we are very much looking for, to see how long the tires last on this track, how well the drivers are able to manage them, and yeah, will be interesting to see that medium versus hard battle. Now, oh, there is a yellow in sector 1. Let me just see if I can... Yeah, and it's gone now, so probably just another small... No, that is more than a small moment. Bartosz Kopeta once again lost it. Luckily, he was not stuck in that gravel trap. He manages to continue on. He's a lap down already. And yeah, he's not... just not finding his way into the WMSC. That is such a shame, because Bartosz, he has a lot of potential. I've seen some other races of him in the RSL, and he had some very good moments there. But for now, he just couldn't put it together here in WMSC. Both Infernal Voids and tangled up in a battle. Well, Frigato is rather defending, and he's still defending from Danny Weller, who he doesn't find a way past. We've seen him try to brake very late in the final corner, but that didn't really work. And it's hard to find any way past anyone. Philip Puschke, he's... Oh, Janis Wilborn in the background. Uncharacteristical mistake by him. We don't see that too often by our championship leader. And of course, if it stays like that, Riedmüller will close the gap a lot. Let me just do some quick maths, and hopefully I won't get it wrong. Well, as it stands right now, Riedmüller won't overtake Janis, but the gap will come down significantly, just a couple of points. And yeah, these are some critical races coming up now for Max Riedmüller, where he needs to maximize the results to stay in the championship fight. And as we can see, Philip Puschke trying his best to make it past Pascal Polens, but yeah, he just... The car is not quick enough in a straight line. Not even with DRS, he is able to pull alongside Polens. But as soon as Polens does a mistake, in a similar way that Janis has just done, Philip will slide through and yeah, head off into the distance. As we can really see that Pascal is struggling on pace compared to Pascal Puschke. And also look at the gap ahead. Look at the gap at the top, actually. Over 10 seconds it is now. Max Riedmüller is absolutely dominating this race. Ruben Meschede is still running a strong second. So maybe finally he can finish on the podium after a strong run in Canada. He would have scored points in Watkins Glen, but he crashed on his own in the final couple of laps. In stream he was still finishing in 6th, and we thought he scored points. Well, actually he didn't. He received a penalty after the race for driving without a rear wing instead of pitting, and that has put him out of the points. So he was classified 9th last time out at Watkins Glen. Today he is on the way to the finish. And Pascal Puschke still trying his best to make it up into those podium positions, but I think he really has to hope for a mistake of Pascal Polens, or to make use of the strategy and a pit stop to then move past Polens and up into 3rd. In the background, Janis Wilborn, he had to let off these two here. He's now rather defending from Cooper McAllister, and Daniel Bentonreader is there as well. Murno had to back off from Benton Reader too. As once again we have the Lucas Murno and Gustavo Frigoto fans in the chat as well. Great to have you here. And yeah, Lucas once again doing a great job given his equipment that the Infernal Void isn't suited for that race here. And despite that, he's still running in the points. Oh, it looked like Yannis he is still struggling there. Once again through that fast right-handers. Interesting to see also when the first pit stop will come. Oh, and this is a good chance for Cooper McAllister into the final hairpin, but wow, Yannis Woolborn was very late on the brakes. I thought it looked like Cooper was very late. But Yannis managed to hold on to it, and wow, Cooper, the SCMM seems to be quicker in a straight line compared to the Epic Basileia of Philip Pushka. Cooper seemed to really gain on Yannis there, but now he's too far away through that long right-hander here. Oh, and Daniel Bentonreader in the background. We've seen that happen to a couple of cars already now. One of them was Jörn von Wendt in the first lap, who lost a lot of positions here and is now just at the back of Lucas Murno. He looked like he was making some quick progress through the fields, but now that has stalled a little bit, as he is still stuck behind Murno in 9th. Murno doing a good job in defending. But it looks like Jörn now is trying to put the hammer down once again to find a way back past Lucas. Now he's close with the open rear wing. Can he try something into turn 1? No, he stays behind. Oh, he almost pushes Lucas through these corners. But he just doesn't dare to try it. I think there even was a little bit of contact through turn 1. And that is an issue of the M80 cars. We have seen that in earlier races as well. They are very, very quick. They have a very high downforce car, so in these technical bits they were really quick, but then when they are behind another car, even if they can go quicker, it's hard to impossible for them to actually make a move, because on a straight line they have disadvantages compared to other teams, and this seems to be the issue for Jörn here as well. Oh, that seemed like Wilbon was a little bit offline there. Oh. Ah, no, that was, sorry. Mistaken Wilbon for Bartosz Kopeta, who is letting lap traffic through. 2 laps down, he's now on the leaders. Oh, Lucas is really struggling, and this is the opportunity for Jörn von Wendt. He dives down the inside of turn 2. Oh, and now side by side through that sweeping long left-hander, and Jörn von Wendt round the outside moves past Lucas Murno and up into the point-scoring positions. But now, chance for a counter-attack for Lucas Murno. He will have DRS on that straight, and he can get close to Jörn von Wendt, but he thinks better of it. And I'm afraid now he has to... Oh, as Bartosz Kopeta gets sideways there in the background. Once again, he's really struggling with that car. And now Jörn von Wendt, I think he will run off into the distance and get closer to this group here. Woolborn, McAllister and Bentonreader. After Cooper was very close a couple of laps ago, he is now a bit further away from Yannis, still within DRS, but not close enough to try anything. I think he also has to wait for for a slight mistake by Yanis. Just as Björn van Vent did there last lap against Lucas Murno. And the gap at the front still keeps on growing. 13.7 seconds now between Riedmüller and Meschede. He is enjoying a Sunday drive here, Max. I think, well, it looks very easy, but I think he will still push and do everything just to make sure. What an impressive drive so far by Max Riedmüller. Behind him, Ruben Meschede, also don't forget about him. These two are having kind of a lonely race here today. And yeah, but interestingly, the gap between Meschede and Poland's, well, it grew somewhat, but it's not exploded like the one between Riedmüller and Meschede. So it's still somewhat closer to each other, as I think Pascal Poland's will just come towards this. Should be Dizou. Will also drop down a lap here, so don't worry, that is not Meschede ahead of him. Fekkeler. Philip Fekkeler is the first one in the pits. He started on the mediums and he's gone for the super soft. Did he really go for the super soft? Now that is very, very interesting. Of course, we have to take that with a pinch of salt, because sometimes we've seen that in the prior races, that tires are displayed wrong. We just have to wait a bit. Oh yeah, actually, a bit of information there in the chat by Super Parko. There were other cars in the pits already. These are Danny Weller, René Weller, Philip Fekkeler, Remco Dizou, and Bartosz Kapesa. They have all pitted so far. There is now a four-car battle as Jörn van Vent, after his recovery after that incident there in lap 1, back into the points and back on that group, and that has kind of forced McAllister and Benton Reader to once again push to try and find a way past Wilborn, because I think they all could go a little bit quicker than Yanis here. Oh, hi Ash in the chat. Yeah. Thank you for the nice words. We had some technical issues at the beginning of this race as well, so maybe if anyone's tuning in and seeing, oh, it's only lap 22. We had a bit of a late start here. But it seems like Philip Fekkeler actually really went on to the super soft tire, so no graphic glitch or anything. He is actually on that, and now this is very interesting. Yanis Wilborn and Cooper McAllister in the pit lane, and it will be a duel of the pit crews. Philip Puschke dived into the pits as well, so I think they will all be going for a two-stop, as this is now 1/3 of the race complete. Probably all going on to the medium once again. Where is Wilborn? Wilborn is already out of the pit lane. Puschke as well. Oh, and there is Cesario, probably. Bartosz Kopeta. Now, oh, very well done there by Bartosz, letting everyone through. Regato, he has not been in the pits yet. He's just behind them. Lucas Murno ahead of them, so not in the pits yet. Warning for Remco Dizou, issued by Race Direction, as he probably impeded someone, ignoring blue flags a bit. But just a warning, no penalty issued here. Another interesting battle on track here is between Boni and Danny Weller. These two both have also done their first pit stop. And now Poland's Meschede, Benton Reader and Von Wendt in the pits as well. And it will be especially interesting to see where Benton Reader and Von Wendt will come out, because they were also in that group of Woolborn and McAllister. Oh, it's a long pit stop for you and Von Wendt. Now, where is Woolborn and McAllister already through? Wow, that one extra lap has really cost them. It has cost them a lot. Was there did something happen ahead of the pit lane? Ahead of the pit stop? Because the gap is really enormous between Jörn von Wendt and Lucas Murno fans asking to stop the count right now, as Lucas Murno is running in P2. And he is extending that stint. Might Infernal Void be going for a one-stop here? Hard to tell at this point. But they may try it. Behind him is now Ruven Meschede. He also went in for his first pit stop. Max Riedmüller, by the way, also on his first pit stop. I don't know if I've mentioned that. But yeah. It's hard to realize that he did so, because the gap is still over 12 seconds. To Lucas Murno, as Ruven Meschede down the inside of Murno into Danny Pedrosa, still side by side. Lucas Murno not making it too easy for Ruven to move past him. And he holds on to second. Of course, if they are going for that one stop. Oh, and there goes Philipp Puschke past Ruven Meschede. Meschede really backed off there. And now Puschke is trying it, and Murno dives into the pit lane, so no one stop for Infernal Void. That would have been a big surprise, I think. But let's see how much that has cost Lucas Murno. Staying out longer on the old mediums. Benton Reader with the fastest lap. Interesting. The only driver yet to pit was Frigato, but he is now into the pits as well. So everyone has made their first pit stop, and the tire situation is just as it was before. Riedmüller changed from hard to hard. Jörn von Wendt changed from hard to hard. Everyone else from medium to medium. Except for Fekela, he went for the super softs. Now let's see how long he is able to keep them alive. Yeah, we're very interested to see what happened there to Ruven Meschede. It really looked like he backed off, and now he's lost P2 to Philipp Puschke, who was able to take advantage of that pit situation because he moved past Pascal Polens. Totally missed that happening during the pit stops. A lot of stuff going on there in the last couple of laps, and a lot of race critical stuff as well. I think we can already tell now at lap 27 that this race is all Max Riedmüller's. He is quicker than everyone else on track right now. Don't think Puschke now being in seconds will change too much about that. Let's see how much Polens can keep up, these two. There goes Yannis Woolborn. He managed to hold on to 5th ahead of Cooper McAllister during the pit stops. We've seen that live. And that was such a big opportunity for Cooper and SCMM, because I'm pretty sure that Cooper could go a little bit quicker than Yannis, just not on the straights. But it's so hard to pass a Holland Racing Team car. That has pretty much been the story of the seasons. The season Holland Racing Team usually are those doing the passing. They're just not being passed, on track at least. But we've also seen Yanis making an unlikely mistake for his standards. And as soon as he does that again, Cooper will be there to take fifth from him. At least for Cooper McAllister, these new bigger SCMM upgrades to the car seem to work as once again, or at least Cooper is able to fight at the upper end of the grid. Reed Miller once again, best lap time, 1:13.4. Now, in case you might be wondering why we're reaching qualifying level lap times, that is because qualifying was started on a full tank of fuel. I've explained that in qualifying as well, but for everyone that tuned in later, the fuel is now burning down, the cars are getting lighter and lighter as longer as that race keeps on going. And seeing that on board by Daniel Benton Reader, in case you're wondering about track limits, those are issued by R-Factor 2, by the game. And you have a certain limit until you will get a penalty. And as far as we can see, the track limits here on Jerez don't seem to be too strict, especially here on the curbs. As Reed Miller has extended the gap to over 19 seconds now. And while the battle for the race win today might not be as interesting as it was in the last couple of races, for the championship that is really, really important and very interesting indeed, because today at Jerez and the next race in Monaco, this will be Meniti and Max Riedmüller territory, but then there will be more races coming up as well with, for example, Monza or Spa-Francorchamps, which will rather benefit Team Holland and their straight line speed. So it is really, really important for Riedmüller to maximize the results out of these races, and to hope, of course, that Yanis and maybe even Pascal Polens, don't forget him, he's not too far away from Yanis in the championship either, to pull a gap on them and to gain as much points on them as he can. Sorry, I had a short connection issue on my side here, so it was gone for a second, but I'm back now. And so very important for him to gain on the two Holland Racing Team cars, and of course to hope that they will get beaten on these races by some other drivers as well. And right now that is the case, as Ischke and Meschede are between Riedler and Polens and Woolborn. And of course, the order in which Team Holland are running right now, that is also quite to the liking of Max Riedmüller. Rigoto, in the meantime, has dropped down to 14th, but that was kind of expected, as you've mentioned it in the chat. That is not a track for them. High downforce, that is not suiting the Infernal Void cars. Lucas Murno still running a strong 9th, which won't give him another point, but he's still there when something happens to someone in these top 8. So he will be there to snatch that final point scoring position. See if Gustavo can get into that Jerez window, which would be so crucial for him. Try to move past Max Heyman. Team boss and driver for now for Scuderia Cesario. Cesario also had a drop-off in performance, as they're also, well, struggling a bit on driver side. You may remember they started the season with Lorenzo Turi and Rai Seifert, but in Montreal they had no driver at all. Then in Watkins Glen, Heyman and Copetta filled in for the first time, and now they're doing it again. Turi actually took the first pole position in the WMSC. This is Jeffrey Fournier in the pits. That is his second pit stop, actually. That is an interesting point of time. That's a long pit stop as well. Did I miss anything? Okay, interesting. What happened to Fournier? I was just looking at a fact sheet I have here while talking about the Cesari guys. Totally missed that Fournier situation, but yeah, interesting point of time to do the second pit stop. I don't know if he will be able to go to the end after that stop here. Once again, back onto the medium tire for Jeffrey. Here's a replay. Maybe that will... Okay, so Jeffrey Fournier hitting the wall there. Running wide, mistake all by himself, and then he went into the pit lane to fix some damage, probably, I assume. And yeah, to go for a fresh set of tires at the same time. So that explains that situation. Frigato, just as we were looking at that replay, rolls into the pit lane without a front wing, and he stops the car here. Penalty for Jeffrey Fournier issued as well, probably something to do with yeah, Fournier crossed the pit exit line after that pit stop. Oh no! What a shame for Gustavo. Filling in for Aaron Curtis. The Brazilian pro racing driver here. Dropping out of the race. That's what happened to him. Oh, he just ran a little wide. It's a heavy impact. Wow. Yeah, no wonder he retires after that one. That was heavy indeed. I mean, it was just a slight misjudgment, running a little wide through these sweeping right-handers in the final sector. But I think he's parked in a safe spot, so we won't see any safety car or even virtual safety car. So, yeah. That is the only thing that could become dangerous for Max Riedmüller here. As we're still following that battle here for 5th. No changes. Gaps pretty much frozen. Oh, and in the meantime, Jeffrey Fournier, after receiving a penalty has also retired from this race. Probably there was also damage after that contact he had there with the wall. So that has ended his race early as well. Benton Reader now seems a bit closer to Cooper McAllister than he was before. Interestingly, Pascal Polens is inside the DRS window of Ruven Meschede now, so he closed that gap. He's able to go quicker than Ruven right now, and Philip Puschke is also just there. Let's see if it's possible to overtake here when it's the other way around, when a Team Holland car gets the DRS. Interesting now as well that Pascal Polens seems to be quicker than Yanis this race here. That was also the case in Kyle Lamy. I think maybe these tracks rather suit him. He's getting the better setup here. Who knows, but good to see Pascal ahead of Yanis there as well. That might get spicy later in that season in Holland. But he's not close enough either. In the meantime, the Zoo and Danny Weller back into the pit lane. And out they go, rejoining in 12th and 13th. No, the Zoo is actually lapped down, so he's in 15th. And Weller is now just behind Max Hamer with much fresher tires, so that might be interesting. I even think it's a bit early for that to be their final pit stop, so maybe they're even on a 3-stop strategy, and this is what we've talked about ahead of this race. It is very hot here, and Cooper McAllister is very close to Yanis Wilber. Might this be the opportunity? No, he backs out of it. What has happened to Yanis there? That's unusual for McAllister to be that close, but now Daniel Benton Reader sees his opportunity. Also thinks better of it. Oh, that was very interesting. I felt like Cooper might have had a chance there into turn 1. But of course we also have seen that Yanis Wilborn is, well, last of the late breakers. Oh, and it's a drive-through penalty for Danny Weller for missing the pit entry. We haven't seen that. Maybe we can get a replay to see what happened there. Let's see this time. Yeah, this time he is not close enough at all. I suspect that Yanis might have run wide a little bit through that final corner, and that gave that big opportunity to Cooper McAllister. We've seen that happen before. He had one in that first stint into the final hairpin. He was very close there as well, but Yanis incredibly late on the brakes. Probably that was the case here as well. Let's see the replay of... What's that? That is... Yeah, this is Yanis Wilborn. Now, what happened into that final corner? And indeed, that wasn't the ideal line for him and Cooper. Yeah, but even with the DRS, he just does not get close enough for that. That straight is just not long enough. If that happened on the second straight, he might have even had a chance to make a move, but... Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Gustavo Frigato, hi. in the chat now as well. Apparently, dirty air was the issue for him. And yeah, so unfortunately. Oh, that is some very interesting information by Gustavo. Thank you for that in the chat. The only way to pass here is making use of push to pass in unusual places. So indeed, that is what we have been watching here. The entire race, incredibly hard to overtake. And dirty air, of course, playing a big role with these kind of cars as well. Yeah, still, you can really see it here. Benton Reader and McAllister as well, they might be able to go quicker than Woolborn, so much quicker. Seeing how close they can keep to the back of that Team Holland car. Despite that dirty air that Gustavo mentioned in the chat. It was a bit of an issue we talked about ahead of this race as well. That overtaking and Jerez might not go together too well. Oh, bit of a mistake there for Cooper, giving an opportunity for Daniel, but he's not able to pull that off. Yeah, it would be great to see you in more races, Gustavo. That would be great to see you there. Really good job you did until that crash and in qualifying as well. As we're still watching that 3-car battle, just waiting for that one situation. There is a lot of dirt. Someone had enough moment there. Probably Bartosz Kopeta, maybe. We've seen him there. Oh, and once again, Bartosz a little wide. Oh, he seems to have an issue with his car. That looks a little bit wonky there. Yeah, you can really see how much Bartosz is struggling. Talking about pit stops, I think the second round of pit stops should be coming up very, very soon. So that might make that battle for P5 a little more intense as Daniel Benton Reader once again is very slow to Cooper McAllister. And I even think if McAllister wouldn't have DRS from Yannis Woolborn, that Benton Reader might actually have a good chance to move past Cooper. And look who's back at that group as well at the end of this group. Jan van Wendt, he had a long first pit stop. Oh, and there he goes in, trying to go for the undercut. And this might be very, very smart by Jörn. Let's just hope that is going to be a quick pit stop for him, because that might be very interesting. And if he can somehow come out ahead of Yannis Woolborn in the end, that is a big help for his teammates in the championship. Max Riedmüller still controlling that race. Almost half a minute in front of everyone else. Yeah, indeed, Jörn might now join in P5 when Woolborn, McAllister and Benton Reader come in for their pit stop, which presumably will be this lap. Because this earlier pit stop might do wonders for Jörn. What could have been for Jörn today? Maybe he could be fighting for the podium if he did not have that off moment in lap 1 where he dropped from 4th, I think it was, to 12th, 13th. And then was stuck in traffic. There goes Yannis Woolborn and Daniel Benton-Reader. Now, interestingly, Cooper McAllister stays out for another lap. I wonder if that was not the wrong choice for Cooper McAllister. Lucas Murno in the pit lane as well. And on the top right, you can see Jürgen von Wendt. That is a great perspective for us here. There goes Daniel Benton-Reader. Oh, and there goes Jürgen von Wendt. Yannis Woolborn managed to stay ahead, but Jürgen von Wendt moves past Benton-Reader. Benton-Reader now down the inside into turn 2. What an interesting battle here out of the pit lane. And that is some brilliant action. They're still side by side. Jürgen von Wendt with the better line, but pushes Benton-Reader wide. Oh, and Benton-Reader won't be happy about that. And Race Direction will definitely take a look at that situation. But finally, some brilliant racing action here. Unfortunately, it didn't end in the cleanest way, but what we can definitely say now is... Oh, no, I don't know. That might have cost these two. So Cooper McAllister might still come out ahead. Oh, Jörn, that might have been a penalty for you. Yeah. Cooper McAllister now in the pit lane, and let's see where he comes out. Maybe he can even take advantage from that situation with Jürgen von Wendt and Benton-Reader. Oh, it will be very close once again. Another battle out of the pit lane, and it actually worked for Cooper McAllister. So in hindsight, actually quite a good call to stay out here. Otherwise, he might have even been tangled up with that battle as well. I don't know if that was what they were hoping for, but, well, in the end it worked out for Cooper McAllister and SCMM. They rejoin in 6th. He also talks about track limits in the chat. We've seen that before. Track limits warnings and penalties are handed out by the game directly as Cooper McAllister runs right there, but just manages to stay ahead of Jürgen von Wendt. But this might be his chance into the final corner. He's searching for that inside line, but now he's forced the long way by Cooper McAllister, and he stays ahead. Might have been the chance for Benton-Reader behind him. Still no update from Race Direction regarding that von Wendt Benton-Reader incident when Benton-Reader came out of the pits. Yeah, as I was just talking about, the track limits are issued by the game itself, and yeah, it seems like they are not strict here. As we see cars really running wide throughout the entire field. Oh, that is interesting. We've completely missed that while looking at McAllister, von Wendt and Benton-Reader for 5th, and Woolborn, of course. Ruben Meschede is back into 2nd, and Pascal Polens is back into 3rd. Puschke dropped down in that round of pit stops to 4th. So, presumably, Puschke's pit stop was much later than the one from the other two, or a lap later even. And we've seen with von Wendt that you actually have an advantage with the earlier pit stop. And that is what probably happened here. Or, no, is something going on with Puschke? He's dropping down a lot now. Oh, we've seen that in Bahrain, where he had issues with his rig. Is that happening again? What's happened to Puschke? 8.6. Yeah, now he had that Cesario there in the way that has maybe cost him, but that is quite interesting. Now the gap is back to 7.5 seconds. I don't know. If something happened to Pushka, we surely will get a replay. Because I don't think he has lost 7 seconds by just stopping a bit later. That would be weird if he waited so long with his pit stop. Max Riedmüller, by the way, is still only on 1 stop, still running on the hard tires. McAllister, Vent and Benton Reader still battling here for 6th. Woolborn, thanks to that pit stop, has now got some time to rest. Let's see if it will stay that way or if later on McAllister will come close once again. I'm also keeping an eye on the gap between Polenz and Pushka because Max Riedmüller in for his 2nd and probably final pit stop. But it was 43 seconds between himself and Ruben Meschede, so I don't expect anything to change there. And I think actually Jörn van Vent might have gone away with that situation. Because still no update from Race Direction. I get an update immediately when anything happens. Yeah, that is what probably happened to Pushka, but he's already behind the other 2. And that looked odd. Yeah, just as I was talking about it, I just received the information that Jörn van Vent is asked to let Daniel Benton Reader by because of that situation. And he does so right now. A lot of dust once again kicking up here into the Dani Pedrosa hairpin, and that is a Cesario car. No, it is Yannis Woolborn. Yannis Woolborn went right into Dani Pedrosa. And he lost position to Cooper McAllister. Oh, that is the 2nd bigger mistake by Yannis Woolborn today. Very, very unusual for Yannis. But we will surely see a replay of that as well. And here it is. Oh, is this because of some traffic? That is a Kostek just ahead of him. Oh, and that looked very similar to what happened to Philip Pushka in the replay we've seen earlier. Locking tires on the curb maybe. And then just don't getting the car to turn, running wide into the runoff there. Well, and we've seen how hard it is to overtake around Jerez. So, McAllister might now actually be able to keep that 5th spot. If, of course, he doesn't make a mistake, just as Yannis did there. And once again, Max Riedmüller with another fastest lap. What, 12.8? The gap is up to 25 seconds again. So, yeah, he's in absolute control of this race. Oh, that might be a warning for blue flags there for that Kostek. That is really in the way of Cooper McAllister. Now he lets all of them through, but that might have been a bit late. Woolborn not able to seize that opportunity to move past McAllister once again. And now let me just do some quick maths to see what that means for the championship standings. Of course, it's only round 6 of 15, but interesting to look at that either way. Yannis Woolborn, he would get 3 points for that P6, so he'd be on 42 points. Yeah, and that is yeah, more information on that Kostek situation there we were just talking about. Renuela received a 5-second penalty that will be issued after the race for ignoring blue flags. So, as I was just saying, Yannis Woolborn with that result would be on 42 points. Max Riedmüller with a race win and 10 points here would be on 41 points. So, with a 1-point gap, would be going into the race at Monaco. Another track where we expect Riedmüller to be quicker than Yannis Woolborn. So, the championship now truly is alive. And actually, right now, it even looks like Woolborn is under pressure from Daniel Bentonrieder. If Bentonrieder, of course, moves past Yannis Woolborn, Riedmüller would actually take the championship lead on countback because he would have 3 race wins compared to Woolborn's 2 race wins. If, of course, Riedmüller wins that race. Well, I don't think anything except from himself is able to stop him from winning here. Oh, running wide once again is Yannis Woolborn, and there goes Daniel Bentonrieder with big opportunity now to make a move into 6th. And Woolborn is really on the edge here today, and he's overstepping that limit again and again and again. Oh, and now he's really endangered on losing the championship lead here today. As I said, if Bentonrieder moves past, Riedmüller wins. Riedmüller will take the championship lead here already. That would be a major result for Max. Now Riedmüller with some breathing time once again as Daniel went a little wide there. Von went now very close to Bentonrieder once again. So these 4 are keeping us entertained this afternoon. On a race that hasn't seen too much action on track, to be fair, but whenever it came to the pit stops, it was very interesting. And a very uncharacteristic race for Yannis this is. This is, I think it was the 4th bigger moment he had here today. And you must say, fair play to Pascal Polens, because he didn't have any of these issues, and he's very close to Ruven Meshed, fighting for 2nd right now. He was very close there, 2/10 the gap, as we just watched, but now he's back up to 7 counts once again. But still impressive to see that Pascal Polens is able to fight for P2 here. The second quickest driver right now, except Max Riedmüller, of course. But Yannis is a long way off his teammate today. Another on-track battle here is between Danny Weller and Gagiano. Only for Von Wendt moved past Bentonrieder. Something happened to Bentonrieder. Big gap now forming. Bentonrieder off track. He's lost his rear wing. He's lost his front wing. Oh no! What has happened? And he doesn't return to the racetrack. He retires here. Oh. Now what's gonna happen next? Bentonrieder is out of this race. Lucas Murno back into the point scoring positions. He might just be able to keep that streak alive here. And that's the replay. What happens? Did he just lose it all by himself? Yeah, oh no, he gets 2 wheels on the grass there. Okay, and we have a slow zone, which is like a virtual safety car. We had that in Bahrain as well. Drivers are asked to, oh my goodness, what happened here? To push the pit limiter. and yeah, go at that speed. So the gaps are frozen. It is not a safety car. Max Riedmüller will keep the gap he has to second place. And the start of that slow zone phase might have been very interesting to see. Was Poland just alongside Meschede? But let's fully focus on that, because as soon as the slow zone ends, this will get very, very spicy here between Ruven and Pascal. But how unfortunate is that for Daniel Benton, reader? It was just such a slight mistake. He was just getting one or two wheels on the grass there, and then the car just goes straight on as soon as he wants to turn. It's another heavy impact. Oh my goodness, what was that? Ruven Meschede into the pit lane. Getting some fresh tires. He will come out. Can he come out ahead of Pushka? I think he should be able to do so. Now Poland's up into second. But Ruven Meschede, oh, that might have been very smart. Changes on to some hard tires. But they are fresh compared to Pascal Poland's tires. McAllister into the pit lane as well. Janis Woolborn trying to take advantage of that slow zone as well. Jörn von Wendt, what is he doing? Is he staying out, hoping to come out ahead of Woolborn? Oh, now that might still change a lot. Yep, von Wendt stayed out. But he can't take advantage. Can't take advantage. The gap must have been quite big. Was he impacted by that Daniel Benton relay incident as well? I don't know. But he was right there as well. Or he should have been right there as well. Okay, now this is very interesting. So we have Ruven Meschede on fresh tires, giving up track position at Jerez to Pascal Poland. I don't know if that was too smart. Of course, he has the fresher tires now, but we've seen how hard it is to overtake here. Lucas Murno? Yeah, that's a no-brainer for him. Just getting some fresh tires. Ahead of him, there is enough. Well, he might be actually able to attack von Wendt in the end, because von Wendt is still on his old hard tires. Lucas Murno on the mediums now. On fresh mediums. Okay. McAllister and Woolborn on fresh tires as well. Danny Weller goes into the pits as well. Now, I think we're in for a very interesting sprint towards the end. At a race at Jerez where mistakes were quite frequent. And the slow zone is now over. We return to racing speed with 11 laps to go. And this is going to be very, very interesting. We focus on Ruven Meschede, who has now these fresh medium tires compared to Pascal Poland's old medium tires. He changed on them, I don't know, like 43-ish, something around that mark. Usually we take notes, but it's hard for me to take notes and comment on the race at the same time, but it must have been something like early lap 40, 45-ish, between that, around that time. And Ruven Meschede has now very, very fresh medium. So definitely a tire advantage on Ruven Mescede's side. But giving up track position, well, let's see. Oh my goodness, the rear... No, okay. It looked like the rear stepped up massively there for Ruven Meschede, but it seemed to be all under control. I thought he just spin his car around there as well. That would have been terrible. Another self-inflicted DNF and another Kostek kind of in the way of some of the fast and leading cars. But for now, Poland's able to keep that gap as it is against Ruven Meshida. I'm also keeping an eye on the McAllister-Wilborn situation. Wilborn's still outside the DRS window of McAllister, but that might be about to change. Now Ruven is back into that 1 second window of Pascal Poland. So, let's see how this turns out. Only 10 laps remaining now, as Max Riedmüller enters lap 49. And let's hope for an exciting finish of that race here at Jerez. He's not nearly close enough for now. And I'm really wondering if he will ever be close enough to make that move. Really interesting to see also how Poland's reacted when Ruven dived into the pit lane. Of course, doing the opposite of what Ruven did to get the track position at that moment. But that doesn't look likely for an overtake for Ruven Meshida here. Everywhere where you can make a move or try to make a move, he's not nearly close enough. Even with the rear wing open, I think he just has to hope for a little mistake by Pascal Poland. And we haven't really seen that happen today. Pascal Poland with a really solid race, and if he manages to hold on to second, absolutely maximizing the result for Team Holland here with P2 here. But now Ruven looks very close. But the Team Holland car is such a beast in the straight line. Ruven trying some alternate lines to maybe get out of that OTR as well. Now he looks close. That might be the chance for Ruven Meshida. How effective is the DRS? There goes Poland. He's getting defensive into Danny Pedrosa. The switchback by Ruven Meshida, but he's not quick enough on the throttle, out of the corner to make it side by side through these left-handers. And even then he would be on the inferior position on the outside. So have to go the longer way, but that looked promising. He may be even able to try that for the next couple of laps. This alternate line he had through Situ Pons, turn 5, that very long sweeping right-hander ahead of the first DRS zone on the track. That looked promising. Now on the DRS he is once again. Well, the pit straight is just not long enough. Oh, and there goes Danny Weller against Gino Gagiano. Gagiano runs wide into the hairpin, and that was an easy job now for Danny Weller. And there is Meshida and Poland once again. Alternate lines through there as well. Meshida looked a bit far away. I don't think this will work this time. He looks a bit further away than he was last lap. Also no need for Poland to go defensive this time around. Yeah, here you can really see it. Ruven, with that fresh tire set, would be able to go much quicker, but where do you pass here? He needs to do it on one of the two DRS zones, or of course if Poland's who makes a mistake instantly sees the opportunity and move past. And it has to be a very, very slight mistakes, like running wide, missing an apex, and then on the following corner. Wow, Reuven really looks like he's... Oh, Cooper McAllister is slow. What has happened there? Woolborn back into 5th. Von Vent back into 6th. What has happened to Cooper McAllister? Back into that... Wow, these last laps are really, really interesting thanks to that late slow zone there. After the unfortunate accident of Daniel Benton-Reader. Reuven Meschede once again. Time is running out, though. As soon as he moves past Pascal Polens, he definitely has that second spot, because Polens won't find a way past him. This time, Reuven is way too far back. Now the replay, that is surely what happened to Cooper McAllister. And... Ooh, running also just a little bit wide. One tire on the grass. He spins his car around, but manages to keep it out of the wall at least. But he loses 2 spots to Woolborn. Back into 5th. And Von Vent up into 6th. Now what can Meschede do here? I think the biggest issue, of course, for Reuven Meschede is that was kind of a bad situation for him to be in. Either give up track position and get that tire advantage that he has right now, but finding it hard to get back up into 2nd despite that tire advantage, or in the other hand, keep 2nd but give Polens a free pit stop. And wow, Meschede running wide. He needs to be careful still, because he can easily end his race in the walls if he overcooks it. Yeah, but I mean, even if he stayed out and Polens went in for a fresh tire set, yeah, he would have probably had an easier time making it past Meschede thanks to that straight line speed advantage that Holland has over Optiminal. So, yeah, that was kind of a lose-lose situation, maybe even for Reuven. But he still has a couple of laps time. And he is trying his best. You can really see that. But overtaking at Jerez is a big, big issue. The dirty air really playing a big part in this race. As we've even heard by Gustavo Frigato in the chat, who unfortunately had to retire in his first race at the WMSC due to, yeah, also actually just a slight mistake he had into turns 11 and 12. Oh, this is the chance! Polens slides a bit wide. Can he keep onto it around the outside? No, unfortunately he can't. But these are the situations Reuven has to look for. Polens just getting a little slidey, and mentioned that this was where Cooper McAllister spun around a couple of laps ago, and in the background there is Philip Puschke, also on fresher tires. And now he's even outside the DRS, and that might just take Polens to the line. No, certainly it doesn't, because look how the gap is shrinking once again. Another Foster coming out of that pit lane. Oh, that is now unfortunate for Pascal Polens, because we've seen these cost days become kind of an issue for the drivers at the top. Nice aerial view of the track and the battle for P2. Polens runs wide. This is the big, big, big opportunity for Meschede. And here he goes. Polens forces him the long way, but with the better tires, Meschede might even be able to hold on to it. But no, he's just not alongside. Out of that hairpin, he just doesn't get the tires alongside Pascal Polens. I thought he might have a chance with a fresher set around the outside, but of course running in the dirty air and yeah, really driving on the limit. This won't help the tire life for Ruben Meshida tires. So the longer Poland holds on to second, the more likely it gets for him to actually keep that spot. Well, that is great to have such an exciting battle now in the dying stages of this race. But really didn't have too much of these great on-track battles. But now in the end, they're still treated to some brilliant on-track action. And isn't that even better than some easy overtakes? When cars have to fight for making a move. And just breezing past with an open rear wing. But time is really running out for Ruben Meshida. Let's see where Riedmüller is. Oh, okay, actually, he still has 2.5 laps, Ruben Meshida. Riedmüller has just started lap 67. Pushka gets involved here as well, so as soon as Meshida puts a foot wrong, Pushka will be there to pick up the scraps. Now, for the second to last time, the best opportunity for Ruben Meshida is coming up here. It's to get a great run through C2 Ponds, and this is looking very, very good because Pascal Pollens with a bit of a moment through that turn there, and now alongside Ruben Meshida is going into the hairpin. Pollens late on the brakes. Is he trying the switchback? No, Pascal Pollens brilliantly defends the inside there and keeps on to second. Wow, that was very, very good defending by Pascal Pollens. But Pollens, he's really struggling. The mistakes and slides are getting more and more for him. He's really on the edge here with his tire life. And yeah, Pascal Pushka just waiting for anything to happen to these two at the front. Pascal Pollens once again a little bit slidey through the final corner, but the it's just short enough. Too short here, not long enough. And now we're coming up to the final opportunity. Let's see where Riedmüller is on track, because we might just cut away to Max to see him go across the line. But don't worry, we will look at that battle for P2 as Max Riedmüller comes around the final corner. We haven't seen much of him, but that was not because he wasn't driving well. He was driving exceptionally well here at Jerez to take the win in Spain. And Ruben Meshida hasn't made it past Pascal Pollens this time around either. So that is looking very good for Pascal now as well. Just keep it between the white lines. Just 3 more corners to go for Pascal Pollens for an unlikely but amazingly deserved P2. Meshida has thrown everything at him, but Pascal Pollens hangs on to second to finish on the podium for Team Holland. Damage limitation complete. And there goes Meshida in third, Pushka fourth, Woolborn close to them in fifth as well. Von Wendt moves up into sixth in the end. Then we have McAllister. Unfortunate for him, he was up into fifth until that mistake. And Lucas Murno. Where are the Lucas Murno fans in the chat? Once again, he finishes in the points. He keeps the streak alive and snatches that final point. And that has been the race here at Jerez. Let's once again look at the full results once they are ready. Max Riedmüller wins out of Pascal Pollens, Ruben Meshida, Philipp Puschke, Janis Woolborn, 5th, Björn von Wendt 6th, Cooper McAllister 7th, then Lucas Murno in 8th. Danny Weller, tough luck for him, outside of the points in 9th. Gino Gaggiano completes the top 10. 9th and 10th are a lap down. Max Heyman in 11th, René Weller 12th. Remco de Zoo finishes 13th. Philip Feckeler DNF'd late in the race, but still finished ahead of Bartosz Kopeta in 15th. Daniel Benton-Reeder, Jeffrey Fournier, and Gustavo Frigotto, they didn't finish today's race. We've seen that live, what happened to them. And yeah, that has been an absolutely amazing race then in the end. What a battle for P2. I tried to read the chat. You seem to enjoy that as well. So yeah, glad you joined us today as well. Let's see if we can get Max up here for a short post-race interview. Just a little moment. I'm just trying to ask if we can get Max up here. So, yeah. Congratulations, Max, to an absolutely deserved and totally dominant win here in Jerez. Was it ever under danger, or did you ever question that you would win here today?
Thank you. Yeah, I know that the car today was phenomenal. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was never in danger. I think maybe when the safety car came out, then maybe, but I knew that I had the pace, and yeah, today was a good race.
Yeah, I don't know if you realized that during the race, but many drivers seem to have a lot of problems running wide and spinning and making a lot of mistakes. Even Yannis did a lot of mistakes. He finished P5 in the end. Did you ever struggle with grip or being on the edge with the car?
No, never at all. I made a lot of setup work the whole week, and I knew that the Harris had not a lot of grip, and that we will struggle over the stint with the rears, and yeah, that I served out, and yeah, and that was the key, a good rear.
Yeah, last time out at the end of the race in Watkins Glen, you told us that you were expecting to be quick here. That turned out to be right. And the next race will be Monaco in a couple of weeks. Do you expect this to be as a dominant affair as this was today here?
No, I don't think so. Monaco is a special place, and yeah, I think there's the point to mistakes like everywhere, but there's a point. When you make no mistakes in Monaco, then you will win there. But I think we will be more equal there. Yes, we have more corners or more fast corners, and that suits my car more than
Okay, so do you think how do you think will this championship battle turn out? Do you think you've got a good chance with the rest of the season coming up?
Yeah, of course. I think I have the chance to competitive till the end. But yeah, let's see. Next race is also Spa, Monza, and but the races where I can go at the front. But yeah, we might out of it in that races, and yeah, let's see where we end up.
Hey, congratulations once again to that absolutely dominant race win here today. We're looking forward to see how that championship battle unfolds. And yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, so we've heard him there. Let's hope he's right once again, because well, he was right about Maniti and himself being very quick here at Jerez. Next, now we are in for a bit of a longer break between races, as we will only continue in 4 weeks' time, but we will be going to probably the jewel in the crown, the Circuit de Monaco, for the race there. It should be closer if we believe Max Riedmüller, so this will be very interesting how this will play out. Yeah, maybe just a word about the championship. When I just did the quick maths, I think the gap between Janis Wilborn, who will still keep the championship lead, it will be down to 3 points, the gap. So Max might even have the chance to take the lead of the championship there at Monaco if he performs as well as he does here today. So it will be very interesting to see how that plays out. And yeah, I hope to see you all there. Then Ash will be back, and we will be, well, 2 people in the commentary box once again. I hope I didn't too bad today. And yeah, I hope to see you all for round 7 at Monaco. Thank you and goodbye.